A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again for our 14th edition of the Naval Science Wednesday. It's good to see you all. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Baraka. Andrew, welcome. I can see Kevin Momola, Kira, and Aka. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start in the next few minutes. In the meantime, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat box. Please write in your name, your organization, your country, and also where you're joining us from. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hadeer, welcome once again. Yeah, as the rest of the people are joining us, Andrew, please give us the live video. As you're waiting for Andrew, please feel free to introduce yourselves. I can see Curity has already introduced herself. Hi, Curity. Please let us know your name, your occupation, whether you're a scientist or a journalist, your country, and also where you're joining us, if you don't mind. I can see Andrew is ready.
Hi, my name is Alice from Infona. Welcome to Narwell, the first online platform that connects environment researchers and journalists.
My name is Gerald Tenywa. I'm a senior multimedia journalist working with a New Vision newspaper, and I've been working there reporting on the environment for the past 20 years.
My name is Mary Akurut. I have a doctorate in engineering science, focusing on water resources and climate change. My research interests are in water quality, climate change around Lake Victoria, and I'm currently working with the Uganda Electricity Generation Company as the manager dam safety and water resources.
The scientists believe that their role is to work in the lab, do their research somewhere in a research office, and they have no business with the media. And yet, the media can add value to their work by reporting it and making sure that it reaches so many people. And this has been quite a challenge. The Nile well is bringing these two parties together to be able to interact, to be able to chase the mistrust that has been existing between the two parties.
Nile well is a unique platform. It helps to interlink the journalists, the scientists, students and other researchers. It gives you a platform to also link to your own work, and also it gives you updates on the current and existing information that you have on the Nile basin.
You see, in many cases, the journalists, the first time, they may not get it right. But through continuous interaction with the scientists, they'll be able to learn a lot more, and they'll be able to learn correctly. I'm a living example of that. The way I was reporting 20 years ago is not the way I was reporting 10 years ago, and it is different from the way I was reporting 5 years ago.
It's important that we join this Nile platform because it helps us to link between scientists and journalists and provides information to the public in a way that is really understood and information that is scientifically proven. So this is a good link that you need to join. So go Nile.
So what are you waiting for? Create an account today by logging on to www.narwell.org.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Once again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening from wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for the 14th edition of our Nile World Science Wednesday. We are glad to have you. As we start on our program, kindly introduce yourself on the chat box, your name, your country, and your organization, if you don't mind. Yeah, we're going to start in the next few. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Deli Sive. I work for Infonile as the communications officer based in Kampala. We organize at Infonile, we cover stories on water and the environment using multimedia storytelling. So we came up with the Nilewell Science Wednesday, this being the 14th edition. And at Nilewell, on this Nilewell Science Wednesdays, we seek to network both journalists and scientists, and also encourage journalists to develop story ideas out of the science communication topics that are shared here. So, on our subject today, we are going to discuss. We have a team from Egypt, that is Dr. Yasmine and a journalist called Hadeer Elhadry. The topic is how a community in Egypt is restoring mangroves to combat climate change. But before we start, I'd like to let you know that this session is being live streamed on YouTube and on Nilewell. We are going to share the link shortly. But as we've always done, I encourage us to make this session as interactive as possible. Kindly mute your microphone if you're not actively speaking. And then if you have any question, feel free to share it on the chat box. You can type your questions also in the chat box as well. And you can also use the raise hand emoji in case you'd like to interrupt midway. Yeah, so on to our guests for the day. We have Yasmine Kamal Abdel Mahsoud, who is an environmental we have Dr. Yasmine, who is an environmental expert with more than 20 years' experience working with a wide range of sectors in industry, energy, urban development, and agriculture. Dr. Yasmine is a technical manager, senior technical manager at the American University in Cairo Center for Applied Research in Environment and Sustainability. She has done her PhD in applied sciences and engineering with specific concentration in environmental engineering. She also has a master's in environmental engineering. Her concentration was in environmental engineering as well, and also has done a BSc, that is a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Currently, Dr. Yasmine leads more than 80 projects in the fields of environmental management, sustainability, water and wastewater treatment, solid waste management, and climate change. She's also a certified consultant in implementing environmental management system and also a certified consultant in conducting environmental impact assessments. Welcome, Dr. Yasmine. But maybe you can just say hi, Dr. Yasmine. How are you?
Hello, I'm very happy to be with you today. I'm very happy to be talking about my journey with Hadeer and Infonile concerning this program, and talking about one of our recent projects, which is the mangrove rehabilitation ecosystems in Egypt, and it's a unique program because we are having mingling between the research and the community, and that's why it's a unique project. After we welcome Hadeer as well, I will have an opportunity to talk a little bit about this project.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yasmine. It is important to note that this pair was the second pair, it is the third pair that is sharing from the first cohort of the Nilewell Science Journalist Communication Fellowship that ended this year. So the next one is a journalist called Hadeer Elhadry, who is a science journalist from Egypt. She specializes in environmental stories, focusing on biodiversity, sustainability, climate change, and solutions for a better future. She writes regularly for Scientific American Arabic Edition. She's also a trainer and a creative manager for Climate School Initiative, where she offers training for journalists on climate change journalism. She's the founder of Climate Story, an initiative that simplifies content on climate change and connects human stories for people affected by climate change with scientific studies and reports about climate change. Hadeer also participated in a couple of fellowships, that is fellowships on climate change and biodiversity, one of them being for Metcalfe Institute in Rhode Island, And then there's Society of Environmental Journalists in America, Climate Tracker Organization, Free Press United Organization, French Media Development Agency, Goethe Institute, Africa 21, and the German Foreign Ministry, called the name of the fellowship was called Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue. She has won several awards, among them being the Africa 21, there's Egyptian Syndicate Plan International Organization, and there's also one from the Ministry of Social Solidarity, the Egyptian Ministry of Environment, etc. etc. Thank you so much, Hadeer. Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you very much for the introduction. How are you all? It's my
We are
pleasure.
fine. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to start the session with inputs from Dr. Yasmine. Feel free to use whatever she says on Twitter or on whatever social media platform you'd like to use, like Instagram or Facebook. The hashtag to use is Sci Wednesdays. I'm going to type it on the chat box. You can tag us at Info Now. Welcome, Dr. Yasmine. The floor is yours.
Okay. Okay, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, today I'm going to talk about the project Mangrove Ecosystem Restoration Model as a nature-based solution to climate change. This project is a cooperation between HSBC, the Climate Solutions Partnership, and the American University in Cairo. The Climate Solution Partnership is a philanthropic program. It was a 5-year program with $100 million. It was a global initiative to finance natural-based solutions projects to mostly was was one of the biggest objective of this climate smart solutions partnership was the enhancement and the encouragement of investments and research on the natural-based solutions as a climate change adaptation tool. We were the Mangrove MERS project, the Mangrove Ecosystem Restoration Model, was one of the projects that were conducted and implemented through the HSBC and its Climate Solutions Partnership. First of all, we will say a word about mangroves worldwide and in Egypt. Worldwide, there is 114 species. In Egypt, we have 2. We have Althatinia marinia and Rhizophora macronata. Where are they found? They are found in Egypt, along the Red Sea, starting from south of Hurghada, Elgona, up to the southern borders of Egypt. The most common species is Avicennia. However, Rhizophora is only found in the southern borders and in few places where Avicennia and Rhizophora are found along the seashore, mingled together. In Egypt, we have 512 hectares. Why is very important to have mangroves along our seashores? Of course, it is one of the enormous carbon sequestering plants. A mangrove tree can sequester 5 more times carbon than an inland tree. Mangroves have a lot of benefits. We can say that we have the forest products from the mangroves. It can be wood production. It can be honey production. It can be medicinal extracts from the mangroves. Also, mangroves have a very important recreation and tourism advantage. Mangroves are hosting a lot of birds. So if you are a bird watching, you like bird watching or you love bird watching, so going to place where you have mangroves clusters is the spot where you can find a variety of birds and mangroves. Of course, we can have also economic values related to the land use, when you can have being in the vicinity of mangroves can have added another touristic or recreation importance to the place, to the land. Also, there are some indirect uses for mangroves. We can, of course, say carbon sequestration is one of them. Biodiversity is one of them, because because mangroves roots are nests and nurseries for the fish, where they come and have young fish eggs laid in this among these roots. From the perspective of adaptation to climate change, you can have seashore stabilization. You can have protecting the water quality against sediments and runoff. There is also, when you have a sea level rise, you are protecting whatever on the seashore. So there is a lot of benefits, direct and indirect, related to mangroves. That's why we have interest in preserving the mangroves in Egypt. So our project have three main objectives. First of all, adapting the nature-based solution to climate change adaptation. This was one of our objectives. The second was restoration and rehabilitation of the mangrove ecosystem in Egypt. And the third is enhancing the social and economic status of the local communities living around the mangrove. How we can implement our objectives? Through 5 main pillars. The first one, of course, is mangroves plantation, and we plant mangroves in the areas where there have been degradation, or the area of mangroves have been reduced, but we do not introduce mangroves in new areas. The second one is this climate smart agri-hub, where we have research oriented about mangroves. What are the factors that lead to its deterioration, or what the factors that can enhance its growth? The third pillar is the community awareness, because I need the community who are living nearby the mangroves to preserve it, not to have wrong practices around it that can lead to its destruction. But the community will never be committed to the conservation of the mangroves unless there is some economic benefit that come to him. So this is our fourth pillar, is to help the local community to develop eco business models that help them have an income from the activities around the mangrove. And the last pillar was the GIS-based knowledge platform, where we locate the mangroves forests in Egypt and have their areas and monitor their growth or their reduction along the years. In today, I'm not going to focus on all the project activities, but I'll focus on the activities that was related to our story about planting, community planting the future for Egypt. So, in our story, we focused on the plantations and how we do the plantations of the mangroves. Actually, the plantation have 2 phases. The first phase is the selection of the seeds. As you see here, this is the seeds of the Avicennia marinia, and this is the seeds of Rhizophyra. So these long pens are the seeds of Rhizophyra. So these are collected in the seasons where they grow. For Avicennia marina, we have 2 seasons, in April and May, and in August and September. For Rhizophyra macronata, we have only 1 season, which is in August. After this, after we collect the seeds, of course, there are a lot of precautions and how to collect the seeds and how to select the right seeds that will be able to flourish after this. Then there is the seeds are put in the plastic bags and they are kept in the nurseries. They are kept in the nurseries for almost a whole year or 7 to 8 months until they reach the right height to be transplanted in the sea. In order to transplant them in the sea, we have to select the right location. This right location, in terms of air temperature, water temperature, having low tides, and having no flooding in the area, and of course to have a soil type that is sandy or to silty clay. So having the right place for transplantation is key for the success of the plantation itself. Along the past 2 years, we have managed to transplant 15,000 seedlings of mangroves along Safaga and Hamata on the Red Sea. Our project target is 50,000, so we are still working on transplanting or planting and transplanting the rest. One very important thing we are happy about the plantation process, that we involved the local community in it. We involved a lot of ladies in the process as well. So this was one of the things that engage the community with the mangroves and enhance and help in them having starting to ask about what's the importance of these mangroves and how to preserve these mangroves. So we initiated through this plantation process a dialogue about the importance of it and how to preserve it and how to preserve the environment on general as well, not only mangroves, but also plastics waste and how as individuals should do their own responsibility to preserve their mangroves and seas as well. Of course, after we do the plantation, there is always the monitoring and surveillance. So we revisit the places where we have planted the mangroves, and then we start taking the survival rates, monitoring the growth of the seedlings, and to see and to evaluate. This evaluation, from this evaluation, we get our seed survival rates and seedling survival rate, and see how we are going to develop our plantation processes. In our premises in the AOC, we do some experiments around the mangroves, and this help us in getting the right decisions as well, and put them on site while we are planting and transplanting. Then we came to a very important aspect of the project, the economic empowerment. Of course, we had a dialogue with the local community, what they want to implement, what are the projects they want to have. And one of the projects they wanted to have was to have an ecotourism project, which is about touring mangroves or with boats and having their authentic drinks and their authentic food served in a Bedouin tent. When we started with them, we found that they have in order to help them have this project, we need to have their capacity building on project management, but also we faced a problem with illiteracy. They have a high rate of illiteracy. So, and especially in girls. So we started working on them how to address this problem, and how to address this problem on a community-based, actually, a community-based approach. So our approach was to find a tutor from them. She doesn't have to be a university graduate, but a high school graduate will be sufficient, and we give her the material and give her all the tools, and we start having pre-test and post-test every phase or every level. We have the program on 3 levels, and these 3 levels, at the end, they can go and have the illiteracy certificates. After this, after passing the 3 levels, they are numerically illiterate, and they are and alphabetically illiterate, so they can read and write. And we were very happy to have our group of girls, and they are actually working still. We didn't have a graduate from the program yet, but they are progressing. And this was a brief about our story and the basis of our story, and I would be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasmine, for that insightful presentation. And Dr. Yasmine and Hadeer, like I previously said, worked to co-produce different communication outputs based on the previous NILWEL fellowship program. So this is one of the videos they worked on. Andrew, are you ready?
I'm very happy to be managing the project of mangrove ecosystem restoration solutions, MERS project. The MERS project have 5 main objectives. The first one is the plantation of mangroves in the areas where its growth has been declining along the western coast of the Red Sea. We aim to plant 50,000 mangrove trees along the project duration, which is 5 years. The second one, of course, is conducting research about the mangroves factors affecting the mangroves growth or causing its declining through our climate smart agri hub. Our third objective is raising awareness about the mangrove's importance, about this nature capital. We are not still exploiting it in Egypt so far. Raising awareness on multiple levels, among researchers, among local communities, among youth. Of course, the local communities will not be keen to preserve this natural capital unless they have economic benefits from it, and this is our fourth pillar, raising the capacity of the local community and building their capacities to make use of this nature capital through the ecotourism project we are initiating in Wadi Gemal Protectorate in Hamata village. This ecotourism project involves capacity building in project management as well as illiteracy program as well, a community-led illiteracy program. Our fifth pillar is having a GIS platform, having the mangroves area, the mangroves forests along Egypt with its characteristics and tracking its variation along the years.
Here in MERS project, in our restoration project for mangroves trees in the shoreline of the Red Sea in Egypt, we are having 2 phases of germination of the seedlings and the seeds. The first one was planting the seeds to germinate for 1 year, almost 1 year, in the poly bags under the nursery and net. And after 1 year, we retransplant it with the local communities. in the shoreline over 2 sites in Safaga and Hamato with the 2 species of Avicennia and Rhizophora. Mostly we are planting the Avicennia trees species, and this is our plantations from previous 2 years. This is about 13K seedlings of both Avicennia and Rhizophora.
The MAS project stands as a nature-based solution addressing the pressing issues, the pressing challenges of climate change. Through its collaborations and engagement with the local communities, we are looking forward to rehabilitating and restoring the mangrove forests along the Red Sea coastline. In areas such as Safaga, Hamata, Marsa Alam, we are working closely with the local communities on growing different mangrove species, most especially Avicennia marina and Rhizophora species, which are the most dominant species on the Red Sea coastline in Egypt. Mangrove trees are a very important part of the ecosystem in that they are breeding places for the marine fish. They also help to protect the coastline from storms and strong waves, and as well the mangrove trees have a very, very important aspect related to climate change because they do act as carbon sinks for the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. What you're seeing here are the seeds that we have prepared with the local communities here in Hamata. We have planted almost 10,000 seeds, and in the next few coming months we will be able to come and transplant these seeds on the Red Sea coastline.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, Dr. Yasmine. It's important to note that this story was published both on the local newspaper in Egypt, and it was also done online. And as you can see, there was also a version that was done for YouTube. You can catch the story using the link I have just shared. So I'll quickly move to Hadeer. Maybe Hadeer, you can just tell us your experience working with Dr. Yasmine in doing this communication output. Yeah, and maybe if there are any new developments you found on the ground after she had already done the research.
Yeah,
Hadeer?
sure. Thank you very much. Okay, give me a second to share my presentation.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, just a second. Yes.
Are you able to share? Okay.
Yes. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, we can. We can just put it on full screen presentation mode.
Yes. Give me a second, please.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know where can I expand my screen. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay. So
That's why it can't be. That's why it can't be.
I don't know where is the problem, but I'm not able to expand it.
Okay. It's because it's a PDF. Maybe you can just share it as it is. Or do you have the slides with you, the original slides?
No, it's just PDF.
Okay, just share what you have then.
Yes, I'm so sorry. So let's go with it. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about the project and the angles
Okay.
we write about the project from it in our research.
Okay.
Okay, are you able to
Dr.
now?
Yasmin? Sorry, not Dr. Yasmin. Hadia, someone says as it is, you can press F1, F11 to
F11.
maximize this. Yeah.
Okay. I will try.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, it's not working. Okay, so do you mind
Okay,
if
it's okay. Proceed.
yes,
Proceed.
I can share it later if you want.
It's okay. Just proceed.
Okay. So our story is about how a community project in Egypt is restoring mangroves growth in Egypt and helping to combat climate change. So Dr. Yasmine mentioned a lot of information about the project. That's why I wanted to go more about our story and about the angles we are talking about the mangroves from it. Okay. Our story about the project Mangroves Ecosystem Restoration Model, which we call it MIRF. This project is implemented in Egypt using nature-based solutions to fight climate change impact. The MIRF project aims to restore and plant the mangroves in Egypt, as mangroves are vital ecosystems. They help keep the land safe from strong waves and storms. Mangroves serve as vital nursery for fish and other species, which are crucial for the livelihoods of coastal communities and all of humanity, which rely on marine food resources. We use some statistics and scientific studies in our stories to enhance our story about the project and about the importance of planting mangroves in Egypt, such as this statistics. United Nations Environment Program (UNEP) says that restoration and protection of mangroves is critical in combating climate change through carbon sequesters. They are carbon-rich ecosystem on the planet, storing an average 1,000 tons of carbon per hectare in their biomass and soil. A paper released by this project, MERS project, analyzed mangrove distribution along the Egyptian Red Sea coast and found an increase in mangrove area by 405 hectares. That means 2% annual growth from 2003 and 2022, but also revealed a decrease in mangroves cover in 2,400% of the area, particularly around Halayib, like due to the environment and human pressures. In our story, we focused on some aspects like woman empowerment. Like Dr. Yasmine mentioned in her presentation, the project helped women to learn a lot of things. The project has greatly helped them to learn how to write and how to read, and they are given opportunities to participate positively in the environmental activities, and also they have salaries from the project. Also, the project targets to develop the mangrove ecotourism in this area, which include boat tours, bird watching, and the pigeon tent. The ecotourism project will hire around 20 direct and indirect labor. They will be from the local community. Here we can see some photos from the project for Dr. Yasmine and some local workers. And Dr. Yasmine mentioned all the story in her presentation, so I don't want to repeat it again. And now we can talk about the co-production journey and the experiences we have from it. Me as a journalist and Dr. Yasmine as a scientist, we cooperated together to produce this story. You can read it on Al-Ahram online. It's in English. Also, you will find it on Infonile website. So here's some experiences which I gained from the fellowship program. This is an important experience for me as a journalist because I cooperated with a scientist, Dr. Yasmine, to produce this story, and we were cooperating to write a human and a simplified story about a scientific project like MERS. That's why I'm saying this is a unique experience, because we are working about transferring everything which is complicated numbers and complicated scientific factors to a human story. Also, in the journey of co-production program, we learned a lot of skills like photography, video editing, podcast, creating designs, fact-checking, and social media marketing. Also, the data visualization. At this program, we shared experiences between us as a journalist and a scientist, and we learned how each worked and come up with joint work at the end of the project. And it wasn't easy because there are new skills and new information for me as a journalist, and there are a lot of skills which are new for the scientist, Dr. Yasmine. That's why we shared together a lot of experience. Also, at the beginning of the program, we were in Uganda and we attended a lot of inspiring sessions. That's why I see that this program is very important because it provides journalists with a lot of skills which are very important in their journalistic work. And also for scientists, they learned a lot about the skills which are important for the journalists. So some of the sessions were about pitching scientific stories for the editor, and we had a lot of valuable discussion about pitching scientific stories, what's important, how we can write our stories in the best ways, and something like that. Also, we had some sessions on strengthening communication between scientists and journalists and how we can overcome the challenges of joint work because some scientists weren't able to trust the journalists that they are able to write in the best ways about their research, and some journalists weren't able to simplify everything in the scientific papers. That's why we need a discussion between scientists and journalists to come up with a joint work. Also, one of the sessions was about simplifying scientific content and how we can, as journalists, write scientific story, but at the same time, a human story which is related to our local communities and which is very attractive for our readers. That's it. I want to thank Infonile for the program, for the big effort they did, and I'm ready for any questions you have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Hadeer. Maybe just to begin, would you like to share some of the challenges you faced, this being your first experience working with a scientist to co-produce a story?
Yes, sure. Actually, the project was like 12 hours by driving from my house. That's why I wasn't there. I wasn't able to go with Dr. Yasmine. But at the same time, Dr. Yasmine helped me so much in taking photos and in recording videos, interviews. I mean, also I shared my questions as a journalist with Dr. Yasmine, and Dr. Yasmine asked the questions for some resources in the project and take photos and videos, and she spoke to the local community there. That's why we try to overcome the challenges we faced in the project.
Okay, can I add something here?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I would like to thank Infonile and Hadeer for our joint journey. Our local community was a different community because it's, as Hadeer said, it's a remote community, and I have. It was hard for me to ask them the questions and get the answers. And Hadeer helped me in how to simplify the questions, in how to say the question in a simple way they can start to answer, not to have a complex questions, but very, very small tips of information we would like to get from them. And also when we were trying to have videos with the local community, especially the females, they were reluctant to participate. And also Hadeer helped me in how to give them, she gave me tips how to start letting them in ease so that they can start to talk. It was one of our challenges, actually, me and Hadeer helped me a lot in formulating the questions to address the community. So was one I would like to comment on how we coordinated this together.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. This is a very important point because we talk about the daily life of people in this area, and we wanted to focus on their real experiences in the project, how they are working, how they are giving their time and life for this project. So that's why when we were asking the questions in a difficult way, they weren't able to answer and they weren't able to share experiences because they didn't know what we need to tell you now. But me and Dr. Yasmine, we worked together to ask them the questions in a very simple way, and they shared with us some stories and how they are benefiting from the project.
Okay, thank you so much, Hadeer. Maybe just to understand, did you find were there any new developments from the last time that this research was done? What was the state of affairs by the time the story was being covered?
Okay, are you talking about the development which occurred from the story to now?
Like from the time the research was done to the time you covered the story, were there any new changes?
Okay, no, the project is still running. Yani when we were filming this video, it was, I think, last May when we were having a seeds plantation event. So yani the project is still running, and we are still on the deliverables of the project.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'll quickly move to the questions on the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to type in your questions. There's one question from Uganda from Christopher Bendana. His question is, what are the main drivers for the mangrove encroachment?
Okay. Bad practices around mangroves lead to the degradation of mangroves. We can say if we have in the region over touristic activity, for example, tourists stepping on the roots, the area roots of the mangroves. This can be a problem. Plastic wastes around the mangroves make a problem. Sometimes when you have a touristic development that interfere with the area. So this can destroy mangroves. Sometimes when we have the natural watersheds because mangroves grow in the sea, but flashes of rain and flashes of water, fresh water, make it grow better. So if we building a road and we interfere with the natural watersheds and the fresh water is not going to mangrove, this lead to its degradation. Some bad habits like fishermen, if they are tying their boats to the mangroves, this will destroy it. Sometimes you have some the urban and industrial activities. For example, a nearby harbor. This will lead, or a port. This will lead to excessive pollution that will interfere with mangrove growth. So mostly mangrove is distracted due to human activities, human development that do not protect its presence.
Okay, I hope that is well answered, Christopher. The other question is by Tariq. Just a minute. He's asking, how do the sporadic freshwater outflows from wadis influence the growth patterns and health of Egyptian mangroves?
This is what I was talking about, the watersheds, because we need the natural recharge of fresh water around the mangroves. So if we are interfering in it negatively, and the fresh water is not going to the mangroves. This will lead to its declination in growth, or in the declination of the areas. And actually, some places are along the Red Sea have this have been spotted, and this have been recorded in some areas along the Red Sea.
Okay. The other question, I think you've answered that question very well. The other question is, given the importance of mangroves in carbon sequestration, could Egypt play a larger role in global climate mitigation efforts by expanding its mangrove coverage?
Okay, yeah, definitely we need two things. We need to protect the mangroves that are there. We need to enable the natural regrowth of the mangroves in its native areas. But going with mangroves to other areas that it was not having mangroves previously, from a biodiversity point of view, might not be might not be acceptable, and might not be a positive impact. So we should replant in the known areas, or the historical areas that had mangroves before, and the mangroves were deteriorated in it.
Okay. There's another question. Are there opportunities for regional cooperation in mangrove conservation between Egypt and neighboring countries?
Actually, there are a lot of initiatives in the region. They are in initiatives in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Emirates, in Oman. All they are preserving their mangroves. But on a regional, we can say that HSBC, through its Climate Solutions Partnership, was financing our project here in Egypt, and also it was financing a project in UAE. So it's as a climate solution partnership, they had this initiative. But from country levels, I don't know if there is a plan or not.
Okay. If there's anyone else who would like to ask questions, you can feel free to use the raise hand emoji. You can easily voice out your concerns. But the other question still from Tariq, just a minute. How can local communities be more effectively engaged in mangrove conservation?
I think this can be done through the economic involvement, having business models that can help them have benefit from the mangroves.
The last question, what is the long-term vision? Okay, this is the last question from Tariq. What is the long-term vision for mangrove conservation and restoration in Egypt? I think the long-term vision is, okay, you can share, please.
Mangrove is one of the protected species in Egypt, and all the areas, most of the areas in Egypt, they should be protected. Yeah, for example, Hamata is a protectorate area. In Safaga, there is a protectorate, but of course, we need to be sure that no cutting, no nearby industrial or land developments are encroaching to them. The law is there, but having efficient application is still in progress.
Okay. Levin Namanya from Uganda asks, what are the implications of rising sea levels on the project, first to the plantations and to the communities that this project is aimed to benefit? The
Okay.
implications of rising sea levels.
Okay, when our seedlings are very young, if you have a rising sea level, they will be totally submerged. And when they are totally submerged, you will going to have And this happens also when you plant in areas where you have high tides. So the plants are submerged or the leaves are muddy, so they cannot grow. So if you have small seedlings, they cannot grow, and they cannot encounter sea level rise. For large trees or for grown-up trees, no, there are studies that say that that mangroves can resist up to, I think, about if you have a sea level rise, they can protect any assets on the seashores. Of course, the level of protection is a function of the depth of the mangrove forest itself. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, the depth itself, not only the length of the tree.
Okay. Thank you so much. Dr. Yasmine, there's so many other questions coming. I hope you're not tired of answering them. You can see Vivian has asked about the challenges. Vivian, I think you've been dropping in and out of the call in case you missed that. So Hadeer says she had a challenge going to the field because it was quite far from where she stays. So Dr. Yasmine helped her with that. Dr. Yasmine also says Yasmine Hadeer helped her formulate the questions, simplify the questions for the community to be able to understand. Is there any other that I've missed that you'd like to add?
No.
Any challenges?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a challenge as a scientist, actually.
The question, hello.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
because as a scientist, I am comfortable with presentations, but having a video, having a podcast, this was a challenge for me, actually. And this is something very nice from the program, that we should use different methods to convey maybe the same message, but with different tools. So this was a challenge we had to go together in.
But Dr. Yasmine, you really did a great work.
Thank you.
Okay.
With your help, Hadeer.
Yeah, so the other question from Vivian is about consent, getting consent from the people you interviewed. Did you at any point have to get consent?
For the story and for the video, the people who are appearing in this are yeah, are in consent of this, of course.
Okay. There's another question from Manuela TU. How applicable is the mangrove project in flood mitigation, such as in South Sudan? Allow me to ask all questions, then you can answer them all at once. Just a minute, I've lost it. So the first one is how applicable is the mangrove project in flood mitigation in areas such as South Sudan? Number two, what sustainability approaches are being considered beyond the research? Sustainability beyond the research. And then number three, how can similar approaches be applied to specific sectors such as education? And then number four, how can the program collaborate or support other countries?
Oh, okay. The first one, as a research project, we have not studied the effect of mangrove in flood mitigation. How we concentrated on the factors that affects its growth, maybe the factors that enhance its growth, but we have GIS or we were doing the GIS to know the areas. We are having also trying to find new techniques for replantation, like using cuttings. But in quantifying the effect of mangroves in, for example, mitigating the effect of flood, we did not go through this research line. However, there are a lot of studies that prove mangrove effect or mangrove role in sea level rise protection and flood management. Of course, nowadays, all the countries are facing extreme weathers. All the countries are facing threats due to climate change. And nature-based solutions should be integrated with the man-made infrastructure to help alleviate these climate change threats. And I believe mangroves and others are very important in helping, in reducing, even if they do not reduce it 100%, but definitely they will help in reducing the threats. So this was the question related to the floods in Sudan. We have a question related to the sustainability in the project. Okay, the sustainability in the project comes from our community awareness and from the community empowerment. So after our project finishes, the people who were educated or who became aware about the mangroves and their importance will sustain the preserving the mangrove. The ecotourism project, which will be running, will be sustainable without our interaction. So this is, and the outcomes of the research, this is the sustainability aspects related to the project. There was another question, but can you help me with?
How can the program collaborate or support other countries? I think you talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
How can the program support other countries?
Yeah, definitely through research exchange, through collaborations. We are, as a research center, we are always ready and willing to collaborate with our neighboring countries, all of them.
Okay, there's another question before that. From Kodlik, how do mangroves mitigate and resist floods? You had answered that. There's no research to show that it can be used for floods. The other question was, can mangroves be used to treat in the treatment of oil pollution on the environment in oil polluted areas? And then the third question is, what type of soil is best for mangrove plantations? So you can answer 2 and 3. Can mangroves be used in to combat oil pollution? And then number 3, what type of soil is the best for mangroves?
Okay, for the best type of soil, it is the silty clay soil. So it's a mixture of silt and clay. This is the best type for soil. Can mangrove be used for purifying water against oil degradation? Actually, if there's hydrocarbon pollution, actually it affects the growth of the mangrove. So mangroves, I don't think that mangrove can help in this. Mangroves can take the nutrients from the water, but hydrocarbons are not of the nutrients the plant take. So I don't think they can help in this.
Okay, we have the last question from Susan Wasubiri. Are mangrove plantations sustainable in freshwater ecosystem? Can Uganda, as a source of the Nile, benefit in the establishment of mangrove? Sorry, I've lost the question.
Okay,
To reduce evapotranspiration, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, mangrove is one of the unique trees. Mangrove can definitely grow in fresh water. They can grow in saline water and they can grow in seawater. But what happens in each ecosystem to the mangroves differ. For example, mangrove in fresh water, they are giant trees. You can in Indonesia, for example, and in the Malaysia, you find that the mangrove trees reach up 25 meters. They are very, very large. They are very, very long. And they are used for wood, for example, wood production. But in our region, where we have a very low fresh water and we have saline water and seawater, what we find that the mangroves are dwarfed. So all the mangrove in our region is about 4 meters because they have because the salinity makes stress on them. So that's why in order to be able to still live in the saline water, they are dwarfed. So definitely mangrove can also, if you have a brackish water, they can grow. If you have a fresh water, they also can grow.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yasmine. Does anyone have a question for Hadeer as a journalist? Anyone with a question? Anyone have locked out the questions? I think that is done and dusted. Thank you so much, Yasmin and Hadia. But before we go, we have the last part of this Science Wednesday where we do a quiz and award the winner based on the questions that have been asked. We have 5 questions. The one who scores the most points out of the 5 is awarded. So we've changed this time around. We're going to send a small token of appreciation in terms of money to whoever wins. So all the best, guys. I hope you all make it. So I'll hand over the program to Chris. Chris, are you with us?
Yes, delicate. How are you?
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm fine. How are you?
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
Okay. Please take up the floor.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Yasmine and Hadeer, for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
Good evening to all our listeners, both returning and the newcomers to our Science Wednesday talks. So, this is the last part. Like Delicate has said, we're going to ask 5 trivia questions based on the topic that has been discussed. All you have to do is just put your answer in the chat bot or the chat box, and we shall choose the winner from there and contact you after for your prize money. All right. Without wasting time, let's get straight into it. All right. Now, question number 1 from the trivia. What important ecological role do mangroves play? What important role do mangroves play? A, they prevent coastal erosion. B, they serve as vital nursery for fish and other marine species. Or C, they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Jelly, help me check the chats. So, A, prevent coastal erosion. B, serve as vital nursery for fish and other marine species. Or C, they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
Okay. So the keyword in this question is ecological role.
Ecological role.
I can see, yes, ecological role. We have a couple
Do
of
we have
answers.
a B?
Majority is no.
No B. I'll give you the answer.
Emolo has just put the B right now. B right?
All right. B is the correct answer. Number 2.
Did Emolo say the B after we gave the answer?
I don't know.
saw his
Maybe
first
he came
A.
after. I think internet was slow. Maybe you can give it to him.
But he gave it
All
first
right.
A.
Okay. Omolo is there.
Okay.
Question 2. What are the activities of mangrove tourism? What are the activities of mangrove tourism? We just want 3 answers.
3 answers. Exactly 3. State them.
Yes, state the answers, please. What are the activities of mangrove tourism? Very simple.
We have an answer from
Dr.
K.
Yasmin can also help us, by the way. Dr. Yasmin can also
No.
clarify those
Let's.
answers.
Yes.
Yes, this is right.
Ooh,
Someone get it right.
Caroline. Caroline.
Yes.
Caroline
Caroline
has
is
gotten
there.
it right.
But the
You've
third
seen
one,
her?
it was not education, but you get 2 of
Not
them
education.
right.
You get 2 years. Yes.
No, yeah, still 2 out of 3 right.
Oh, then Bernard is there.
Yeah.
Bernard is there.
But Caroline got it all. So,
Hey, all right.
sorry, Caroline came first. He got 2 out of 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So Caroline told me.
So how are you grading that?
So for Bernard, Dr. Yasmine, Bernard also fails here on education and research, right?
No, but no, it
No.
was actually the ecotourism project has the bird watching, the boat tours, and the Bedouin tent. So
Yeah.
so they missed the Bedouin tent.
They both
They
missed the
both
bed
missed
one
the
ten. So
intent.
so
But it's
we
Caroline
split
who
that
came
point.
first.
Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
Caroline who came first.
Okay, Caroline takes that one. All
So
right, back
correct
to
answer,
3.
yeah.
Number 3, according to UNEP, how do mangroves combat climate change? According to UNEP, how do mangroves combat climate change? Eh, Emmanuel is smart, but the phrasing is wrong. I don't know how to help him there.
Dr. Yasmine will tell us. So we
Yes,
close that
Susan.
part.
Now Upendo Richard is correct. Right? To me, he was the first one. I don't know how it appears on your side.
Just let me check. Upendo Richard. Carbon
The question.
sink. Okay.
Carbon
I can't
sequestration.
Yes.
see
Yeah, it's carbon
carbon
sequestration.
sequestration,
Yes.
but I can't see
Yes.
Upendo Richard. Oh, I've seen him.
Oh,
It's the first correct answer, right?
Yes.
yes.
It's Richard, yeah.
Okay, so Dr.
So we have
Yasmine,
3.
carbon six.
Yes. So we have 3 different correct people. That's interesting. Okay, question 4. What percentage of water does the Nile contribute to the economy of Egypt? What percentage of water does the Nile contribute to the economy of Egypt? Is it A, 59%, B, 12%, C, 90%, or D, 100%? What percentage of water does the Nile contribute to the economy of Egypt? Is it A, 59%? Is it B, 12%? Is it C, 90%? Or is it D, 100%?
A, B,
Caroline,
C. Okay, we
Caroline is
have
correct.
closed that one.
Well done,
Caroline is the
Caroline.
first correct.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Caroline has
number 5,
gotten
the
two.
last one, guys. What is the most popular tourist attraction in Egypt? What is the most popular tourist attraction in Egypt?
It's Richard, yeah.
Pyramids of what exactly? We
Specify
want
its
the full
pyramids,
answer.
but give us which
Specify.
pyramids.
Mm.
So that is the
Oh, there we
tiebreaker.
are. Live in Namanya is there.
Oh my God.
All right.
So Ashiko, just a minute. Great Pyramid of Giza. So who gets this question?
Levin is correct. The Great
Okay.
Pyramid of Giza.
It's
All right,
actually
guys.
the
Thank you so much
pyramids.
for participating. I think Delhi, you're going. Do you know the winner now, or you're going to need time?
So the winner is Caroline Tomno. She got 2. Upendo Richard came
Oh,
in close but missed the word Great Pyramid. No, the Pyramids of Giza.
hey,
Pyramids of Giza, yeah, because there are several pyramids. We were actually told there
yeah,
are more
yeah,
than
yeah.
100 pyramids
Egypt.
in Egypt. Yeah. So Caroline carries the day. Caroline, we don't have your number. Please email us your number
Yes.
info@infonile.org. Then we can be able to
Oh,
send you
oh,
your money right away.
okay. Or even now, you could put your email into the chat, and they will follow
Actually,
up for you.
okay, Caroline, this is my number. Please email, WhatsApp me.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for taking part in these trivia questions. It's been a pleasure. Until the next Science Wednesday. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. We are going to the end of the of this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Yasmine, Hadeer, and Chris. Let me just turn on my Mike.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes.
Oh, your number? Where is your number?
It's on the chat box.
Okay.
We would like to thank you all for attending our session today, and we would like to thank you all for the interactive questions and the interest in our project. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Yasmine. And thank you to everyone who has participated. Special thanks to Kay Emmanuel Leona, who has been very active. Kay, I hope you got your prize for the previous Science Wednesday. I'm told, what's his name? Espoir was getting a grant. He's gotten a grant in the upcoming grant session we're having. And we have Caroline Tomno as well. And yeah, Caroline Tomno was number 3, who's supposed to get his merchandise. Yeah, there's Caroline Tomno from Kenya. Caroline, you should be getting your merchandise from our coordinator in Kenya. Sorry, is the pronoun his, her merchandise. But also we have another, they tied last time with another winner from Uganda who's also supposed to pick their merchandise. We've come to the end of our Nile Science Wednesdays. Thank you so much, colleagues, for joining us. We really appreciate your presence and your contribution. Special thanks to Dr. Hadeer and, Dr. Yasmine and Hadeer, and congratulations too for qualifying for the first cohort of the Nile Science Co-Production Fellowship, and also for coming to the end. You've also really enlightened us on the role of mangroves in combating climate change. Once again, thank you very much for joining us, everyone on this call. Make a point to invite your colleagues for our next Science Wednesday to be done at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. We are going to share content on social media, including the live presentation and tidbits of what has been shared in the session. Till next time, I wish you a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
See you then.
Bado niko. Nitakuwa kesho. Oh, kesho 98. Imagine kumtini imekufa kabisa, yani siku hizi haifani. Ikienda na content yangu yote, nani alikufa, bibi yangu ilikufa, yani tatizo. Unaona siku hizi hakuna pesa, nataka tu ni retire, niende retire. Hii kilimo kufanya, can we do it? Acha nikwambie, unaona nilikwambia nilipanda kahawa na nini. Unajua watu walinipigia juzi. I got some big one. Walinipigia, how is it? Have you pruned? Do this, do that, do like this. With all that knowledge. Napa kuita ule msichana umwambie. Nikafurahi nikajiambia. No, ule wa nini? Huyo ndo anakuja kunipigia by the way. Nitampigia simu hata kama nikutafutia kitu. Ule wa David. Ule wa Solidarity. Huyo amwambie huyo msichana mwenye. Huyo ni nani? Who is sorry. Uko pia. Uko ground. Uko nakwambia I am dealing. Sasa wacha nikwambie.